I chose to go on the YSOP trip because it was such a unique experience. It was unlike anything else that you'll get a chance to do.
I think it's a great way to get to know each other outside of the school environment.
I mean, I guess for me, like, the biggest thing was just being, like, it's camaraderie.
Well, I feel that, spending the time with the community of the people from Camden and the students from Loyola gives myself and them an opportunity to take the time to reflect on things outside of our school.
And it's a really great way to start the week.
Going out somewhere unknown with your friends.
It was getting an opportunity to actually sleep there in the place where we had worked to prepare the food.
I think I get to see a different side of each student and every colleague that I'm with.
I went on my service trip because I've never been to Camden before, and I've never really been around that much poverty, so it's interesting to see how those people live and to be able to help them.
And not only did we prepare food, but we got a chance to eat meals with the people who we were helping to get food to.
Working together, knowing that you're making a difference, helping others, it's just overall a good bonding experience.
And all having like a common goal to serve others. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than I thought it would be.
Played games with them. We ended up singing songs with them that night. It was just a really fun experience.
Why I keep going is that I love meeting the people outside when you're forming these relationships in a short amount of time versus doing the service that you kind of know the people and you're familiar with.
And so I wanted to do it this year, and I'm actually glad I did this year because I had a lot of fun.
It's forced you to step outside your comfort zone.
I went to Philadelphia and I had a lot of fun.
Camden's a great opportunity. Me and Ian had a great time.
And I went because it's just an experience and it's important.
And I wanted to go on it because I knew I would change a person's life.
I went on a service immersion trip. I think that they're very, it's good to immerse yourself in sort of a culture of what you're doing.
I went on mine to West Virginia because I'd never seen poverty in a rural area.
And really being a part of the service with the people you're working with, and you learn a lot and you learn how to appreciate what you have.
I think a student should go on a service immersion trip even though they might not get credit for it, because I think it's a really great way to live out the grad characteristics of being open to growth and stepping outside your comfort zone.
If you want to be spiritually fulfilled, go for it. Go to Camden.
I think it was an amazing experience. It was something unlike anything I've ever done before. And even though it's not mandatory, it's the kind of thing that you really get a lot out of.
This is, to me, like a small experience of immersing yourself in a culture and actually being there.
Oh, it's a lot different. It's really different because
You also, when you're doing something in your neighborhood, you can go home.
I think the overnight aspect adds a lot to it.
For my normal service, I don't sleep there, first of all. And also, I don't do it with other classmates.
Because when you're sleeping over in a place, you really kind of stay in the mental place that you've been throughout the day when you're doing your work. So, yeah, I think it's a different experience than you get when you're doing your local service.
you get to meet new people. It's a lot of fun.
As opposed to, just going for 2 hours somewhere.
Going to your daily service sites, your weekly service sites is all well and good. But
Because you're challenging yourself to do more, and also just who you're with. You stay with the same group for 4 or 5 days, and then you also sleep with them and you eat with them and you do everything with them.
With a group of people that also have that same outlook, that want to learn more about what's around them and help others.
So, yeah, you get to know, for Camden especially, you get to know a lot of people back at the Romero Center, but...
I think it just makes the experience richer.
Also, the kind of work is usually different.
Well, I went to West Virginia and we did like physical labor, which was different than what I normally do working at a nursing home.
But I think it's really important to try something new and challenging because that's the only way that you're going to grow.
Yeah, and it just like, it prepares you for, because it's so intense, it kind of prepares you for your junior and your senior year when you're going to be working with the same people.
Being there, spending more time together, just going, it's not checking off a box.
While you're in Camden, part of the trip is about spending time with people from the city. So in certain service sites, you might get time to spend to hear about someone's story, about their life.
Yeah, and we were so immersed in the culture, we got to really know the people we were working with. We had dinner with them. We really actually knew the area rather than going for 3 hours and then coming home.
It adds like just like this sense of like unity while you're doing your service.
I think it's one of the most powerful ways of doing service to do a trip, so yeah, I've enjoyed mine.
When you do service regularly, it's more like work. It was a lot more fun than regular service. It didn't really feel like service at all. It's not really like any work at all.
Why not go?
It is your free time. It's honestly a fun experience.
I mean, I understand that you want to sort of go away or you want to hang out and relax on your couch, but I mean, watch Netflix.
I just, overall, and there are times I'll admit that I think twice about going on these trips, but then I always come back really happy I did. So I just encourage you to take the chance and take a risk.
Well, I learned a lot of things. I learned about Camden. I learned about poverty. You know, I learned about friendship and solidarity.
But there's a lot of great trips that we do, and I mean, you don't have to do everything, but if you try like one Camden, it's only a couple of days, and you have more breaks and more weekends. And I think it's worth it, honestly.
I chose to give up my vacation time because I really wanted to give back in a deeper way. I think that going on immersion service trips are especially important because you really feel connected to the people and the culture, and you can understand the deeper issues on a very real level. And that's why for me, I choose to use my free time going on service trips.
I chose to go to Easter Camden and give up my break because my sister had gone before and she said it was life-changing. So I went and she was right. It was probably the best trip I've ever gone on, and you should go too.
Yeah, like it really does change your life a lot, like perspective. Like when I went in sophomore year, it totally changed my view on poverty in the United States.
If you think about it, you're going to spend that money anyway on food normally, so you also donate money.
Well, all that money goes to the organization that you're working with, so not only are we helping by being there and in our actions, but also financially, which all the places that we work do need financial support as well.
There's a little bit of a cost that you have to provide to go on this trip, which might seem a little bit confusing at first when you ask, why should I pay to have to go and do my service? But when you actually think about it, that money does kind of act like a donation. It's not just paying to get to do these things, but it does help the actual organization that you're going to do your service with as well.
Reflections are more in-depth, and they're also a lot more natural.
I do like the fact that when we're on the trip, we have a very relaxed reflection setting.
I would say in Christian service class, it's not as intense, but like, because on the service trips, you really think about God in a sense and why you're there.
I think it's easier on Camden and other service trips to focus on, you know, what we're really doing and what it means.
And there's more reflection aspects too when you go on a service trip, which
You're able to find that deeper meaning, which is the purpose of all these trips.
I feel comfortable because it's like people I've been serving with, and it's just really, like, it's more eye-opening, I guess you can say, because
the students usually have an opportunity to, you know, write down some ideas about what they felt throughout the day.
I feel like I can write in more detail,
I feel like my reflections are always more personal.
Because it's for like a few days in a row, they like add on each other.
When you're talking, you find yourself like actually speaking like from your heart, and it's really
Ours were very personal and we're all about the sense of community we have gotten out of it together with the people, which is something you don't really get when it's an individual service.
To reflect with, as Ida was saying, like the whole group of people, and like you kind of become close with them. So talking to them and reflecting with them is a lot easier.
And you get to reflect as a group, and the group is who you served with, so they know what happened there and they've had like, a similar experience.
You also do it every night, and so you like realize that it's more important.
And then at the end of the day, being able to share them with one another and bounce off ideas that you wouldn't think are necessarily related between the two different service sites that different students go to during the day.
You don't really have this feeling that it's like something you have to do. It's just like an experience, really.
One of my favorite memories is when I played card games with like a bunch of old guys that we met at this soup kitchen kind of thing, because it was the first time that I really forced myself to talk to the same people and like try to form relationships like more intensely. So
when I was a student here, service trips for me were something that really helped me come alive and helped me find myself as a person, as a student, and I was forever changed by the service trips that I went on at Loyola.
And the first time I went on Camden, we went to the Children's Center, and like I love working with kids, so we got to like decorate eggs with them, and then in the second half of the day we were with the babies, me and Lauren, so we got to like play with like little babies, and that was fun.
Yeah, it's very cold while we were there, so we didn't have heating in our rooms.
Wall's gone, I think about it now.
I went to Costa Rica, trip to Juarez, Mexico. I went to the Dominican Republic. In addition to just working physically there to build something, we're also working with the children during the day. Out of the rainforest back to where they were, we had to actually use it to help build natural, sustainable housing. Some of it was tutoring, some of it was teaching English. We helped to work with a ranch that was built there to help them with their garden setup. We resoil a soccer field for the local community, lugged teak, which is like a certain type of wood that works really well in the rain. Some of it was like rudimentary math skills while we were there. And also about nutrition and the impact that these trips had on me, and understanding that, you know, I kind of want to see the same happen with students in this school and, you know, and beyond when they're in college to get the same experience as well.
So when I first went on Camden, it was in my sophomore year, and I hadn't ever been before. And I didn't really know what it was like there. I mean, we'd seen a sort of, we saw a video of like what it looked like, but yeah, but you didn't really get the idea until you were there and like driving through the streets and doing a tour of the city. So I feel like what I brought back was a perspective of that, because I think it didn't really hit me until I got back to New York actually, and you take the train back in from Camden, so. And it was just the strangest thing stepping out onto 86th Street, and you had, the last like city you had seen had been Camden, and there are empty buildings that are completely run down, and they're just completely abandoned streets, and then you come out and you're on 86th Street and it's like bustling and everything's bright, and it was like springtime, and it was just, it kind of hit me then, like it was the biggest difference between where I lived and where this place is really not that far away.
Camden and what has happened in the city of Camden over a long period. But applying that to other situations in the world, I think, is what's important too. And this most recent trip, I think for me, it was more of an awakening that it was the first time I had learned a lot of the history actually behind the Jesuits when we were in on the snow day that day. And for me, the knowledge that I gained there was big.
I mean, it's incredible to think that New Jersey is the richest state in the United States, but it's home to the poorest city in the U.S.
And then the fact that we talked about a lot of injustices throughout the world and how important it is to do things like for example, fun fact, I had never voted before, and you and I spoke about this. And now I'm like, clearly it's evident, like, you know, I already registered to vote and everything. I have everything set up for this year. I've been doing research, so.
In New York also, we see that like basically one of the most successful cities in the United States. I don't know if successful is the word, but it's one of the biggest cities in the world, and you know, a place like Camden is only an hour away, and with the wealth that the state of New Jersey has, it's a bit amazing to me, like just the politics aspect of it.
I understand and that I'm informed, so I can help make a decision that, you know, would possibly put somebody in office that can make better decisions for the world.
So I would highly recommend going, and I hope to see you all there.
Thank you. You should go. Awesome. Thank you.
I would just be open-minded and give it a chance and go on any of these trips, and I guarantee you'll like them for sure.
It's fun.
It's a great experience.
Go on the service trip. Go on the service trip. All right. Camden 2K16. Go to Camden.
It's really fun. It's kind of life-changing. It's a really great opportunity.
I hate being on camera.
All right. Okay.
I forgot what the question was.
Can you tell us, Ms. Watkins, why you came on a service trip, giving up part of your Christmas break when you didn't have to?
Stop, Henry.
Right. Will it be editing? And we're on, and we're live. Okay. So.